Okay, class, let me talk to you real quick about just the introduction to your second essay here that you'll do for The Handmaid's Tale. Now that we're pretty much wrapping up on The Handmaid's Tale, you're going to write an essay about it. So this essay will be very much like the last essay you did with the machine stops and the allegory of the cave, just that now this will be a little bit longer, and then you're going to have to include some more outside sources and deal with paraphrases and quotes. So in content, you'll see the reading assignment or the final essay, the essay assignment, and then the essay topics idea, and I'll explain those here real quick. So the Handmaid's Tale critical essay, you're going to pick a topic that deals with something from the book, of course, and then the general information I have is on this sheet. So this is just a general overview. You're going to write 5 pages to 5 analysis page of 5-page analysis of the Handmaid's Tale. So it's 5 full pages, and then you'll have a works cited page, which will be the 6th page. So again, I'll take points off if you don't get the full 5 pages, because really that's not very much when you're dealing with a whole book. So unlike the last essay, you're going to really use a lot of in-text citations, and I explained that in the other video. So in this one, you have to have 8 in-text citations. What I mean by that is quotes and paraphrases. So anytime you use a quote or paraphrase, you have to use an in-text citation to cite where that source of information is coming from. So you'll use a variety of quotes and paraphrases, because I want to make sure that you know how to do both. So we're doing MLA style, of course, and then the research part of this will be you'll have to have 4 sources. 2 of them have to come from the Century Library. It doesn't mean it has to be a physical book that comes from the Century Library. It just means that you can go online to the Century Electronic Journal website and stuff like that and look stuff up at the library electronically as well. So you can do that. So again, full 5 pages, Times New Roman 12 font, have a thesis statement, introduction, conclusion, 4 sources, 8 in-text citations, make sure it's MLA style, you have a works cited page, and that you have a balance of your opinions supported by outside sources. And outside sources mean you cannot use a dictionary, you cannot use an encyclopedia or Wikipedia or Joe Bob's blog from Seattle as a literary source. You can't use any of those things. If you use a dictionary quote in your paper, I'll automatically take off a bunch of points, because using a dictionary or an encyclopedia or Wikipedia is too easy. You need to dig and try to find a really good source. So just to keep that point in mind. So make sure you go over this sheet. And then the Handmaid's Tale essay possible topics is also in D12 content. And here I give you 12 different choices of what you can do your paper on. So you'll choose one of these 12 choices. Number 1 really is kind of just a real general overview. You can do any of these things. That doesn't mean that you'd pick number 1 and talk about all these. Number 1, you would pick some element of feminism brought out in Handmaid's Tale, or you'd talk about brainwashing, or you'd talk about fundamentalism, or something like that. So number 1's a little bit tricky, because it allows you to pick any of these many topics that are number 1. So number 1 is really 15 different topics, basically. So if you pick number 1, that doesn't mean you do all of these and do 2 sentences on each of them. It means you pick one of these and then you do the rest of it, because some of these are really re-represented down here as well. So I just do that to kind of cover my bases, to make sure I have all that. So again, make sure you're paying attention to number 1, and that you don't write about all these. You just pick one of these topics for number 1. Otherwise, you go through these, and I kind of give an explanation of what each of these topics and what I'm looking for, and I kind of give you some questions and how to point you in the right directions and stuff like that. So yes, number 7 looks really big, and I know you're probably like, well, I'm definitely not going to pick that topic. Well, I do that because I give you a lot of information to help you out. So really number 7 is giving you a head start, helping you out. So number 7, number 9, 12 are all pretty big. They seem like pretty big topics, but really what I'm doing is helping you out and giving you a place to start from. I think especially like 8 through 12 are all very good topics. I think they might be a little bit easier than the other ones, possibly. Compare the Society of Gilead to modern day Iran. It'd be easy to find articles online talking about modern day Iran. So trying to find sources for number 12, I think, would be the easiest out of all these. Because there are some of these, you're going to have to find literary journals and stuff like that, which are harder to find. Where number 12 would be very easy to find. But I think definitely 8 through 12 are very easy. And any of these, the manipulation of power for number 7, I mean, there's so many examples of that in there. It's not, it'd be pretty easy to find. So just you pick a topic from the list here that I have as well. So make sure you go over both those sheets, and let me talk about one other thing. This is something that I'll talk about later when we talk about paraphrasing and quoting. I have videos on that as well. But just a word, I don't have it written down anywhere, but I want to make sure that even though in this example essay, sometimes the paragraphs end with an in-text citation or they will end with a quote. For our paper, for me, do not end a paragraph with a citation or a paraphrase or a quote. You should always end a paragraph with your own words. So in other words, I don't want you to end with a paraphrase, because you should really end with your own thoughts and opinions about that paraphrase or about that quote and how it ties in with your paper. That's how I was taught. The MLA example here does show that you can, so technically, maybe later on in other classes you can do that. But for my class, do not end with a paraphrase or a quote. Always make sure that if you end with a paraphrase, that you also throw in one more sentence at least to show me that you know exactly why you put that paraphrase and quote in there, that you understand the significance and the importance of that quote or paraphrase and how it ties in to your thesis statement. So make sure you do that. So I'm kind of jumping ahead here as a helpful hint, because I will take points off if you end a paragraph with a quote or a paraphrase, because sometimes people will just throw in a quote for the heck of it at the end of a paragraph and just move on and never explain it. And you can't do that. You have to be able to explain how your paraphrase or quote ties in with your thesis statement. So just keep that in mind for when you're doing this. Okay, so I think that was just a real general overview of those things. If you have questions, let me know.